theological discussion around it, and then you're embracing that his story is part of your story. But I'm curious, like, what are some of the most hurtful, I don't know, accusations said about you and the story?
Oh,
The shack.
Accusations don't actually hurt me. They really don't. Because if I'm in a conversation with someone who is angry and accusing, as long as I know who I am, we're not going to have a war.
Okay.
If I think that person is coming to tell me about me, then we're going to have a war. But I know better. I know better. I know me. I mean, I can tell that.
If they're coming to tell you about
because a lot of people are going like, oh, you're just a Universalist, or you're just you're too familiar with God, or how could you have a large black African-American woman play God the Father? That kind of stuff. And so if they're coming mad, you just believe everybody's saved and all that kind of stuff, whatever it is. They're coming to tell me, actually, not about me, but my people, modern evangelical fundamentalists, they don't know how to have a conversation when they feel, when they're afraid. They tend to raise their voice because we're addicted to being right, and we don't want our transactional theology to be challenged, and so this is a little scary for them. And at least an angry person is an engaged person, right? An ambivalent person doesn't care. There's no conversation there. But if I know they're not coming to tell me about me, because a lot of times when somebody is confronted like that, if you don't know who you are, you're suddenly going to rise up and defend yourself in all sorts of ways. But I know now that they're coming to tell me in the only language they know how about what matters to them. And if I can hear without being at risk, I can step into that conversation. I can listen for a good question. I can touch my nose to theirs, whatever it is to break down that so that we can become face to face rather than, accusation against defense or any of that kind of stuff. So the only time it's gotten really hurtful is when some of these folks went after my kids. That's when it got hard. Yeah, because they couldn't get to me, and they were moved lifelong relationships. They didn't want their children, infected by my children. So they, or they pulled my kids in front of groups of people and ridiculed them and challenged them. And
wow.
And these were all Christians that did this. And you have to go through and go like, what? They don't know what they're doing. And you walk through the forgiveness process and you're like, okay, God, I let them go. I got to let go of their throat because you go after my kids and it just raises the deepest stuff inside of me.
Yeah.
The beauty of that Man Born Blind story is that he gets kicked out again, which is like whatever. And he's walking the street and Jesus then finds him and he asks him his story and he tells him, and he said, this man, he came up and he healed me and I want to find him because I want to follow him. And who is he? Can you tell me? And Jesus says, it's me. And I mean, it's gone from that point. It's like, yeah, it's Jesus. That's where I find my identity, my worth, my value, my significance, my security. And that story is put right in the middle to say, yes, I understand that human beings draw religious communities together, and for good intent often, and with good results often. I mean, a lot of the recovery movement comes out of communities of faith and healing for disenfranchised and for the abused, and I'm thrilled about that. So I'm not just pummeling on this, but this is about a relationship that is face to face with Jesus. It's not about religious performance, because especially those of us who are broken, what chance we have if this is all based on religious performance,
Yeah. Well,